Hey, this is Trevor Tenyus. Welcome to the fly-through for Disc Golf in the Ballpark. This course design is the 10-year anniversary layout starting in the spring of 2023. It's a culmination of 10 years and over 120 events, all sorts of ideas combined over the years for the layout that we're going to have right now. Hole 1, you come to after you enter through the main gateway as if you're coming into a baseball game, and you walk around behind home plate, and every hole has 3 tee pads, a gold, blue, and red tee pads. And you first come around behind home plate up on the concourse to the gold tee pads for a nice throw from the concourse over the bleachers to a basket set up halfway up and down the bleachers behind first base. As you walk up from basket 1, you go upstairs to the VIP level, and the golds start with a throw to the hole 2 basket, which is situated in right field underneath a baseball batting cage. We use that as kind of like a cave to make it a little bit more fun for placement shots. If you go too deep, you have to come all the way back around the batting cage in order to putt. But it's a fun little obstacle using our baseball theme inside of the baseball park. Hole 3 is our first hole on the outside of the stadium. So you would now walk through the maintenance area of the stadium, and the golds is our first big ground level throw from behind the maintenance area. There is OB with the creek on the right hand side with a couple trees in the way towards the big highway sign and marquee for the stadium. You continue on walking down the creek to hole 4, and we're now playing the golds now have a tunnel shot. It plays almost like a double mando. You really don't have a choice but to throw a really tight shot, probably 360, 380 feet out to the basket. The blues are going to be walking up in front of the trees for a little bit more open shot with 1 or 2 trees kind of in the way for the right hand fade type shot. Then you proceed through the gate into the actual training compound for the Philadelphia Phillies and the Clearwater Threshers. The building there that we're next to is actually one of the most state-of-the-art Major League Baseball training centers for pitchers, and the technology inside of that facility is just amazing. It's really cool that the Threshers and Phillies organization even give us access and allow us to get within feet of this very expensive facility. So we appreciate this 10-year partnership. So hole 5 is our huge bomber hole for the golds, well over 400 feet, probably close to 450 feet. But what makes this hole a lot of fun is that the warning tracks are all OB. So you have to play your upshots very tight. Otherwise, if you fade too far out to the left or long, you're now OB. One of the most imaginative holes we have after hole 5 is you walk back up the stairs into the stadium and you go into the kids' playground. And we've made the whole playground the tee pad. There is a 4-foot, 5-foot fence in front of you with a line of palm trees that you have to throw through or over into the baseball practice field below in order to reach the basket. One of the next big holes is hole 7. The golds have about a 420-foot throw from the corner of one of the practice fields, throwing over the infield. So at Disc Golf in the Ballpark, all the infields are OB. So they play like a water hazard. We're not allowed on them. We're not allowed near the pitcher's mounds, and that's just one of the rules of playing Disc Golf in the Ballpark. So the gold players have to tease this big infield on the left of the fairway as they try to go past the infield to the basket. So now we leave the practice fields and come back through the gate and down the paved maintenance road. And hole 8 is one of our right-hand dog legs on the course. Great flick shot for a lot of players. Nice little turnover shot for the right-hand backhand players. The golds have a nice technical shot where you got to put it straight down the pavement with a late fade out to the basket with a bunch of tree coverage. Plays like a really nice traditional disc golf fairway. After hole 8, you walk back down the fairway and back up the stairs. And this is a good time to go to the bar and get a beer. So we're going to pause right now and sip our beer before we proceed to hole 9. So we got a beer in our hand, we got our discs, and now we're eating some free food, and now we're energized to head over to hole 9. Blues will then go down the stairs from the bar and actually into the stands in order for their tee pad to go to 9, which now we're playing the outside berm, which is the home run area and the standing room only seats for the baseball game, and we've buried the basket underneath the media tower right next to the outfield scoreboard. Golds, this is one of my favorite shots. The golds are actually completely back out onto the concourse on the third baseline out in left field with a nice launch completely over a couple hundred feet of out of bounds over the main field with a nice natural fade back onto the slanted berm. So for hole 10, another one of my favorite shots is the golds. We actually go backwards to what was a party pad or a party area next to the tiki hut and the bar. And the golds now get to launch over the railings of the baseball's bullpen, over the berm, and throwing out over the back part of the baseball field to the berm out in right field and hunt the basket that is buried along the wall in the outfield on the berm. Now we're walking all the way back up to the VIP section, and this was a special hole that we've had for a long time with all sorts of configurations, throwing back down the first baseline to a basket set up in the stands behind home plate. But in this layout, we wanted everybody to throw more elevation shots and balcony shots, launching their discs from this nice deep turnover shot with the basket buried around the net. All right, so one of the most creative holes, now you pick up your discs and you go up to the media balcony, and we have a black hole down on ground level, and this was a fun little variation of a disc golf hole when we realized, you know what? This is an unsanctioned event. We don't have to follow PDGA rules. This doesn't have to look like a traditional disc golf course. Changing up what was a short little downhill throw to a basket behind a net to giving everybody a chance for a score of 1 with a wormhole. You can take your disc from the balcony and throw it into the black hole. And if you make it in the hole, you now get to advance to the other end of the black hole onto the field, which is about 25 foot away from the basket. And you get a 25-foot putt, and we call this a continuation putt. And if you make the putt, it is a score of 1. Most players, we encourage now to don't go pick up your discs. Just go over to hole 13 before you walk down the bleachers onto the field. And hole 13 is deep into left field. And from the balcony shot up at the golds, it's a really fun 350, 450 foot shot, depending on the placement of the basket. Throwing from 80 feet up in the air, wide open, launching over the rails is a little bit of an obstacle. And this brings us to the tricky basket that we have, and the last hole of the night is hole 14. The gold pads are actually buried next to the executive offices on the balcony shot, and you have to shoot around one of the massive lighting columns, shoot out to the right. Part of this is for safety issues, because if you go out to the left, you're actually throwing almost directly at the bar area. We have a precision basket or a bullseye basket, The fairway is a little bit harder. And the tricky thing on all of those shots on 13 and 14 is the bleachers are out of bounds. You have to make it over the fence. Otherwise, you have to re-tee. So now that we've putted out on 14, we walk up the stairs and hand in our card, celebrating a fun night for everybody and 10 years of disc golf in the ballpark, and saying the Philadelphia Phillies organization are incredible. Can't believe we've been able to play this private event for so many years with so much access to such a cool property. And now it's time to go back to the bar and get another drink.